Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Release Your Inner Power with me, Shauna B. We are still in phase 1 of season 3, slowing down, checking in. It's what I like to call hitting that pause button. And today's episode is all about something I know a lot of us struggle with: rest. Now, before I get the side eye and yeah, Shauna, I need more rest, I want you to stay with me for this one, because we're not just talking about sleep or taking a nap, though yes, please do that too, right? We're talking about how rest is actually one of the most productive things that you can do for yourself, for your goals, your relationships, your peace of mind, and your power. So, something that I have found with talking with so many of my clients and women is that most of us have this relationship with rest that it is filled with guilt or a bunch of pressure or even some fear. Like if we stop for a second, everything is going to fall apart, or who the is gonna do it, right? That it's not gonna get done. Does that sound familiar? Let's dive in. In the beginning of me opening up my coaching business, starting that whole process as opening a business is real, right? Juggling family, trying to get the housework done, just doing business stuff. There was times where I thought I was resting. You know, those times where you totally crash out on the couch at the end of the day and you're scrolling for an hour and a half or watching Netflix or maybe answering text messages but not hitting send. Yeah, I thought that was rest. I thought that was rest. But one weekend, it hit me pretty hard. I remember waking up on a Saturday morning and I was crabby. Like I was cranky about everything. I was irritated about having to clean the house. And then I was so tired that I could not even form words to describe what I was feeling or why. Like words were hard. Okay. So sometimes I gotta have a chat with myself. And this time I was saying, "Whew, you just need a day off. You need to not be doing nothing." And I realized that it was too much. And that if I pushed through doing all of those things, that everything that I was feeling, all my crabbiness and all the things, was going to get bigger, was going to get worse. And I did not want that to break me, right? So I stayed home. There was no putting on any makeup. There was no plans. There was just me and part of the time my couch, and the other part was taking a nap in my bed. But the part where I was just chilling on my couch, that was the weird part, right? Because I thought, okay, I'm making a conscious decision to chill on my couch and just be on my couch, but I didn't feel better. I didn't feel better because I wasn't actually resting. I had pushed so far. I was recovering. I was recovering. I was recovering from being burnt out, from saying yes too much, from go, 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 from getting stuck on that hamster wheel, living in overdrive for so long that stillness feels uncomfortable. So that day totally changed something in me because I started asking, like, what if rest wasn't something I had to earn, right? You know, like I did enough stuff, so now I can take a rest. What? What if it was actually part of being powerful and being productive? What if it was part of my day? What would that even look like? You know, kind of like getting real with myself, hitting that pause button and getting real with myself. So here's where the reframe comes in, right? Because somewhere along the way, we learned that rest equals laziness, and that slowing down means that we're falling behind or that we're not doing enough. Okay, but let me drop this truth bomb here. Rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. When you rest, you're not doing nothing. You're actually doing everything that allows your energy, your creativity, your happiness, your clarity comes back. You reset and recharge. Think about it like this, okay? You wouldn't just run your car completely out until it is on empty, completely out of gas until it's on empty, and then expect it to like magically move again because it's supposed to, right? That's exactly what we do with ourselves. We keep going and going and going mentally, emotionally, physically, and then we wonder why we can't focus or why we got all this mind chatter and things going on up here that we can't even think straight, why we snap at our kids really quick, why we feel lost or totally disconnected from the things that we used to actually love doing or being around, right? Rest is refuel. It's the required maintenance that keeps everything working better. So let's talk about the productive part. Productive. Because I know if you are one of those high achievers that are listening and thinking, sure, Shauna, but I have stuff I got to get done. I got boxes to check. I got things to do, right? Here's the thing. When you rest intentionally, not as an escape, but as an act of alignment and it with intention, you come back with way more capacity, with way more space. You make better decisions, you think more clearly, you connect deeper, and you respond in the real world instead of react. You know that when you finally get like a good night's sleep, really good night's sleep. And suddenly that problem that you were just kind of mulling over and tossing around in your mind and it feels so big and heavy, it doesn't feel so heavy anymore. It doesn't feel so big anymore. That's what rest does. It gives your brain the space to sort through all the noise and the clutter that is around. And when your mind has space, that's when your intuition, your true self, that little voice inside gets louder. That's where the best ideas and the breakthroughs happen. Not in the chaos, in the calm, right? So I want to share and chat about the different types of rest because it's not just sleep and taking naps. I know I talk about it a lot because it's my jam. I love me some naps. I can take a quick 20-minute recharge and I can do all the things. Okay. But most people think that that's what rest is laying down or sleeping, but they're actually seven, seven different types of rest. I know, right? When I figured this out and when I figured this out, I'm like, excuse me, what? Seven? I was shocked and I was like, I need to know more of this. And then I would like to practice them, please. So I would like to go through them and give you some examples to make it as easy as possible to choose what works best for you. What works best for you in your rest and recharge, okay, with these seven different types. Here we go. Number one is physical rest. We're going to start with the obvious one. So this is sleep, take naps, stretching, gentle movement. Physical rest. Number two, mental rest. Taking a break from the constant thinking and decision making, because holy moly, decision making is real. How many people have gone through decision fatigue in a day where by the time dinner rolls around, you're like, cereal for dinner? I don't want to. Am I right? So mental rest, okay? Number three, emotional rest. So giving yourself permission to feel without hurrying up and fixing it so you can feel better. Feel the emotion. You are a human being. You are not a robot. Little reminder. And you need to complete the circuit and feel the emotion. When you are feeling emotion, you are processing it. You are not storing it inside for it to come out as something else. So giving yourself to feel without fixing. Number four, sensory rest. This is like turning off all of the noise and the screens and the dings and the notifications and all the things around and just having it quieter can make a huge difference too. Number five, social rest. So stepping back from Maybe there's relationships in your life that are super draining. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever been in a relationship where you talk to somebody, you have like all this energy and you go into this conversation, you talk to somebody, and then you feel like you haven't slept all night long, where it's like totally draining? If you have those relationships or those conversations, step back from those, like not today, right? Not today, not right now, or maybe that relationship is just done, whatever it is. But having that social rest of not having those conversations that are super draining can also help you. Okay. Number six, creative rest. So recharging your inspiration by doing something fun. For me, an example would be me going out and doing some type of hike or sitting next to some type of water. Maybe that's next to a river or hearing the ocean waves. That recharging myself. I'm physically doing something, but I'm also recharging myself for creative. It's like almost clearing it out when I'm out there, and it gives me space for more creative to come in. And finally, number seven is spiritual rest. So reconnecting to something bigger than yourself, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's sitting in nature, whatever that bigger than yourself thing is, whatever fills you up, doing that type of thing for spiritual rest. Now, I'm not saying go take a 7 day like silent retreat tomorrow, right? Unless you want to, by all means. But pick one of these and start there. Just start with one of them. And if you're unsure where to start, ask yourself, which kind of rest do you need the most right now? Which kind of rest? And then notice what you're noticing, right? Because sometimes we keep sleeping, but we still wake up tired. That's a sign That's a sign it's not your body that's exhausted. That is your mind or your spirit. So check in with yourself and see which kind of rest do I need the most right now. So how to reframe rest like in my daily life? How can I put this in my daily life? Because now we have these seven types of rest, right? We have some information. We can do that, but the hard part is when, right? When we think about rest, we know to do it. Okay, but now when? When can we do it during our day? Because I wanted to talk about ways to reframe rest in your daily life so you feel less guilty and pressure from doing it, right? So I'm going to give you a little simple mindset shift that changed my world, and I want to share it with you. So instead of asking, do I deserve to rest? Start asking yourself, what kind of rest will help me show up better tomorrow? What do I need right now? Because each day could be different, right? That way your rest becomes more intentional, becomes more intentional. I'm going to give you a couple more small reframes to try out. So when your dragon comes in here and shows up for you and tries to say things like, you're being lazy or you're falling behind or why are you avoiding blah, blah, blah. I want you to have some reframes like, I'm not being lazy. I'm resetting my energy. I'm not falling behind. I'm fueling up to move forward. I'm recharging to move forward. I'm not avoiding my work or my chore or my task. I'm preparing for my next level. Because when you start seeing rest as a part of your success, as a part of a strategy, the guilt gets smaller and smaller and kind of melts away. It may come back every once in a while, but you're going to like see it like, hey, psh, get out of here. This is fine. I'm preparing for my next level. You know what I'm saying? So I know that your schedule is packed and you have many things to do. So let's make this practical and doable, right? So here are a few small but massively powerful ways to weave these rest ways into your day to be intentional about rest. Take mini pauses. Take 3 minutes between tasks, even. Take deep breaths. Go stretch. Go step outside 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I'm not even going to begin to tell you how many 3 minute chunks there are out there. You can do anything for 3 minutes. Another one, no phone zones. No phone zones. Okay. Pick 1 hour in a day where you don't check your phone. Maybe you don't even have your phone on you. Maybe it's during meals. Maybe it's during your coffee. Maybe it's during, I don't know, maybe you're reading a book or having some quiet time or you're going on a walk or what have you. Have 1 hour a day where you don't have anything to do with your electronic device. Another one is micro moments of happiness. So maybe you play your favorite song, or you might light a candle and read, or maybe you go barefoot in the grass. These little small micro resets tell your nervous system that you're safe, it resets it, and you can slow down. You're safe to slow down. It's okay. Try rest before you're tired. This one's huge. And I'm laughing because you're like, uh-huh, rest before you're tired. Okay. But it's huge. Don't wait till you hit the wall. Don't wait till you hit the wall because remember earlier when I was telling you that story where I was just recovering before? Because you have to recover before you rest, right? So if you wait till you hit the wall, now you got to recover first, girl. Then you can recharge. So rest before you're tired. Schedule rest the way that you would schedule a meeting or an appointment. There's little micro moments. There's mini pauses, no phone zones, all of these things. There's little teeny things that you can do throughout your day that can help you out with this. But schedule it. Have a little reminder on your phone that will tell you. New habits can be challenging, right? When you're trying to change some things, but then honor yourself and do that. Do that rest. And lastly, have an evening wind down. Create something that you do maybe before bed or before, you're just getting ready. Maybe it's tea or maybe it's journaling or maybe you stretch at nighttime or maybe you write down your gratitude or your wins for the day. Maybe it's just sitting there and listening to some music or something like that. Some easy music or just there breathing. Maybe you meditate and you pray and all of that at night. Whatever that is, this is going to train your body to slow down when you do it as like an evening wind down or a nightly ritual. Your body's going to know, oh, triggering nervous system, slow down, you're safe, calm, relax, then go to sleep. So pick one of these ways to start resting into your day because this is how you stick a toe in. This is how you do something different. This is how you do the little teeny micro steps forward to start that ripple effect with your rest. Okay? Because when you start valuing rest and recharge, everything will shift. Everything will shift. You become more present with your people. Your creativity and ideas flow easier. Your anxiety level comes way down. It lowers. And that pressure that you always have on your back to constantly do more starts to fade because you realize that you are more powerful when you operate from like an overflowed cup than from an empty tank. Okay. Now, I really, really want you to take that in. You are more powerful when you are rested. Rest isn't a pause in your progress, it's a part of your process. It's a part of your journey. So this week, I want to challenge you to pick one way that you're going to reframe your rest. Maybe it's taking 10 minutes to sit in silence with your coffee. It's one of my favorite things to do in the morning. When the sun's rising, I sit in a chair by my window and I drink my coffee and look out the window. Nothing, no noise, no nothing. It's awesome. Maybe it's saying no to that extra commitment and yes to your peace or your rest or your time. Maybe it's taking a nap, but doing it proudly. I'm going to go take my nap, Whatever it is, remember this, that you are not falling behind. You are building capacity and the space for what is next for you because when you rest, you rise differently. If this episode hit home for you, I would love for you to share it with a friend who needs this reminder too, because we're all in this life and thing together. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow along so you don't miss the next phase of this season that we're going through in season 3, where we'll start moving from slowing down and checking in into resetting our rhythm. So until next time, give yourself permission to pause because, girl, you deserve it. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there's a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power. Are you feeling like you're behind or something's off or you've tried to do something new and you just can't get on that wagon? You just keep falling off? Guess what? You're human and life doesn't follow a perfect timeline. Maybe the year didn't start the way that you hoped. Maybe your goals got buried under real life stuff. But here's the truth. You're allowed to begin again anytime you want, whether it's July, September, December, January. Progress doesn't have a deadline. That's why now is the perfect time to join Empower Her. We meet you where you are, help you build momentum, and remind you that you don't have to do this alone. There's still so much time left. Let's make it count together.